Hi and welcome to Danklord vs Games. My name is Kevin and today we'll be having a discussion about Fortnite made by Epic Games. I started off by being incredibly fascinated by the intro cutscene as well as the overall graphics and voice acting. I'm going to be honest and tell you that I didn't hear or read up on too much of the game after the initial announcement made in 2011. As gameplay trailers and other footage started creeping forth, my attention got steered towards Fortnite once again. Despite the fact that I knew it would turn free to play, I decided to buy the $60 package only to feel instantaneous regret after my initial purchase. The reason I got disappointed was the fact that I quickly realized how underwhelming the items you get for purchasing the game were. I understand that no pre-purchase in the world should ever overpower you to the point where the game's not enjoyable or too easy, but most, if not all items are things you can get on your first day or two of playing the game, with the exception of the Founder's Pistol, which still serves me very well to this day. The inventory slots provided with the $80 package literally only increases the amount of blueprints and people you can carry and not the actual hero inventory itself. You'll be suffering with inventory management throughout your adventure, and it almost serves as a little reminder of how ripped off you just got by a poorly formulated description. The website clearly says 100 vault inventory slots, but honestly I had no idea what the vault was until later in the game, because the menus and tabs are incredibly overwhelming at first and it's very hard to miss that little text. If you're currently playing Fortnite, you, like me, might also feel like you're playing two different games at the same time. When you're in the menus, the game feels like a massive storefront ready to consume your hard-earned cash and time, but whenever you play the actual game, it feels like there was a ton of love and passion for the actual project. That is, until you get past the first level and everything related to passion dies off due to copy and paste quests and dialogue. In July 2012, Chinese company Tencent Holdings acquired approximately 48.4% of Epic Games. Tencent has the right to nominate directors to the board of Epic Games and thus counts as an associate of the group. It's most likely the biggest factor for why the game turned out to be what it did in the end, sort of organized disaster. Currently, Fortnite is nowhere near being a complete game. You're presented with 4 different regions of the map that in itself acts as levels or stages. The first level is incredibly easy, and I don't know how many times I kept calling the game target practice, but I had a fun time. There are 10 pages of quests for the first level, and some quests feels more repetitive than others. At some point, you're told to do 3 missions of the same type. Sometimes you're told to do missions that might require several runs due to RNG and varying spawn rates. Other times, you're required to do something very simple, like a single mission with a level requirement. In every mission, there are survivors that needs to be rescued, and annoyingly enough, some of them need you to go find a medkit before they actually accept being rescued. A fucking medkit? If some of the survivors argued that he needs his wheelchair to get going, at least the man's got a fucking point. But a medkit? There's no change in the dialogue either, so hearing the survivor's need for medkits almost provokes you to the point where survivor just ends up getting left behind cause fuck him and his friends, I don't need more mouths to feed. Reportedly, problem rises even further when people got to the third stage of the game only to realize that there are no quests. The level specific reagents you need to upgrade your weapons, traps, survivors, and heroes past 2 stars doesn't even drop. And Ray that narrates the overall story usually speaks 24/7, but on the third stage, Ray suddenly turns very quiet. The visuals of the third area is apparently no different from the first or second either, and it strengthens my previous statement about copying and pasting. It all makes me assume that the game spiraled downwards somewhere along the line when Tencent acquired their stakes in Epic Games. A number of high-profile staff members left the company months after the deal was announced. Cliff Bleszinski announced he was leaving Epic Games after 20 years with the company, and later in December 2012, Epic Games president Mike Capps announced his retirement. The reason I'm even writing anything about the game at this early stage is the fact that I came to a realization as I finished playing for the day. Because there are no quests past the second level, I didn't pay a total of $60 to get access to the game itself. I paid $60 to get access to the in-game store at an earlier date than other people, essentially giving me an economic head start with in-game currency and research points. But that's it. It is sadly another case of a game that currently values deep pockets over anything else. If you value your time more than money, you'll get miles ahead of everyone else. However, there's not much of anything to get ahead of. The core game is pretty empty besides the first 2 levels. You essentially get half the game, and Epic Games expect you to shut up and smile because you're able to connect to their servers and watch how the game progresses from a development standpoint. They've always had the option to lock map 3 and 4 out since it's not finished, but rather opted to keep it open, giving a false sense of content that really doesn't exist yet. If you're like me and watch a few streams before buying a game, but never enjoyed the gameplay, that'll most likely not change after spending actual money on this one. In some cases, you really need to play the game for yourself to get a good representation of what the game is offering, but I want you to think not only twice, but 3 times before throwing your hard-earned money away. I'm currently having a love-hate relationship with the game regardless of money spent, and that's why I want to put my thoughts out. I want to see this game succeed despite their questionable business model, but I don't want to see the amount of purchased llama packs represented as a number of success. So just be aware that the early access you're getting into is not tailored to the fact that people have spent money to get in. The early access is tailored exactly as if it were free to play from the start. You'll be increasingly aware of it as in-game currency and other resources start fading from your inventory, leaving you to realize how much grind actually goes into this game. The llama packs, pinatas, or loot crates, whatever you want to call them, are weaved into the core gameplay. You cannot find schematics of weapons when doing missions. They are provided through quests, but only the basic ones they want to provide free of charge. If you do start getting epic, legendary, or mythic items in llama packs, they all have a chance of rolling different upgrade stats, personalities, and traits. You might get a nice color, but the rest of the stats might be horrible and essentially useless to you. You do get in-game currency through questing though, so if you don't plan on spending money once the game actually launches, you can do so with no problems, assuming you're very patient. Money is obviously going to be the #1 priority for any business that wants to be successful, but it's very apparent that the early access of Fortnite is like paying to get into a shopping mall before everyone else. Yeah, great, you're on the inside now, but that doesn't mean anything's going to be free of charge. Let me start to come to an end with this discussion by posing a question to those who's put a little bit of time into the game already. If I told you that the first 40 upgrade llamas you'll open in this game is rigged to yield better loot than usual, would you be at all surprised? And how is that not a problem? We've accepted this kind of behavior from developers, and we're not really posing a reason for them to stop. Just hope that the microtransactions don't turn into a minigame itself, because it's currently heading in that direction. The happy sounds, bright colors, and jokes made by the llamas is all supposed to make you feel joy that you spent money on something virtual, but the fact that there's already crate opening videos on YouTube of people spending hundreds of dollars for something virtual is kind of disgusting, but nevertheless nothing new. We've created this trend ourselves by consuming it with a smile, and I hate the fact that this game decided to take advantage of it by prolonging the trend even further. Why this fucking game? Right now, I'm just afraid to progress further in Fortnite. I want to have things to do for a while, and I'd rather take it easy than plow through content only to find a dead end with a construction sign. Despite the things I've said, I do enjoy my time with the game. I just didn't think I'd be disappointed this early on. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for listening to my crap. Once again, my name is Kevin, and I wish you all the best for now. Bye.